Hi, welcome back to the Always Evolving podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Elizabeth Fedrick. Happiness is a feeling that ebbs and flows in life, but there are definitely some ways that we can increase our happiness or find it in some unexpected places. Joining us today is Reta Faye Walker, therapist and relationship coach. Rita's here to help us to identify some often overlooked challenges when it comes to our happiness and to offer some practical insights to help us to find more happiness on a daily basis.
It's okay that we don't have it all figured out. We're all just taking it a day at a time. This is Always Evolving with Dr. Liz.
Hi there, I'm Reta Walker. I am a therapist in Southwestern Ontario. I've been a therapist for 25 years. And at this point in my career, I specialize in helping couples. In fact, I'm on a mission to help 1 million couples find lasting love.
Oh my goodness, that is quite ambitious.
It is ambitious.
How far are you into that goal so far?
Well, I have a book that is launching this fall, and I'm hoping that book will help me get the readers that I need to take me a part of the way there.
Yes, I'm sure that it will. Yes, so what we're chatting about today is happiness as a choice. And
Yes.
Happiness is something that we all want, we all strive for, we all at least say that we want and say that we strive for. But sometimes our behaviors are not actually in alignment with obtaining the happiness that we want so much. So tell us a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit about that dissonance that happens.
So, especially in a society like ours, we very easily overwork. We find ourselves in burnout, overwhelmed, and in states of stress for long periods of time. And when that happens, we're not happy. We emotionally, mentally, physically, we are destabilized. We are not present. We are out of balance. It's almost impossible to be happy in sort of that state of being. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. And I think that that's where it becomes so confusing and even counterproductive for a lot of people, because I think that a lot of times people end up in burnout because they are chasing what they think is going to make them happy. So the promotion or more money or the bigger home or having multiple children, whatever it is that an individual feels like, okay, once I just have that thing, I'll be happy. But the irony of it is that oftentimes chasing that thing is what's leading to a lot of the unhappiness.
Of course. And I believe that whenever we're out of balance in our lives, we are certainly not going to be happy. And we are out of balance when we have a lifestyle that does not promote happiness, when happiness is not at our core, and when we're also not living the life we want to. We have dreams and goals that are so far away. We're not happy.
Yeah. And what does that look like? So when you're working with your clients and they're not happy and they want to be, where do you start with that?
So I start off, as you know, with many questions. And I identify almost very quickly what it is that's keeping them away from that state of well-being. And in establishing what that state of well-being is, it becomes the task that we set is to return to the place that we always were. I remember a time in my life when I was burnt out. I remember it very, very clearly, but it wasn't clear to me at the time. I went for a walk one morning, though, with my 6-year-old granddaughter, and she picked up a handful of dried leaves, and she scrunched them and listened to the sounds, and she said, "This is magnificent." Oh. In that moment, I realized that I was so absent in my life, and it really marked a turning point for me, a decision to to never return to that place, not to, just to make sure overwork, nothing got in the way.
How do you often, either for yourself or with your clients, help to bring back to the present moment? Because I do agree that that is one of our biggest barriers to happiness, is that disconnection between the present day, the present moment, between even our body. We are just so removed from everything. And what does that look like? How do you help somebody to kind of come back into the present?
So, well, it depends on their state of burnout, but certainly I talk about the four fundamentals. The four fundamentals: good sleep, clean eating, good exercise, and balance. So I help my clients return to that state, the state of, and it's perhaps the simplest, the smallest entry point, but in that state where you're enjoying a walk in the morning, if you're enjoying taking the time to make a meal, it slows things down so that you can begin to enjoy. You can enjoy taste. You can enjoy the scenery. You can start to enjoy life. But it's only when we slow down to that state of balance. I like to think of balance as 8 plus 8 plus 8. 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of play, and 8 hours of work. And when we are out of that state for long periods of time, it's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of times we use the disconnection or the shutting down because we're trying to avoid those feelings of overwhelm and the feelings of burnout. And what a lot of people don't realize is that you can't shut out one emotion without shutting out the rest. And so when we are that shut down and that disconnected, we're also disconnected from, as you were describing, the enjoyment. So even the enjoyment of the taste of food, or the weather, it being a beautiful day, or just the simple pleasures in life are really easy to overlook in that state.
The smells, the tastes, the experiences. In burnout, we don't see, feel, or taste, or our senses are dulled.
Yeah, we're literally just going through the motions, just trying to survive. And for some people, that's not optional. Like I mean, they do have things that they can do about it. They do have ways that they can combat it. But most certainly there are some people that are in a position that it's more difficult to get that balance. When you're thinking in terms of just even providing like a very small first step, because I know with a lot of my clients, they'll talk about, I want to play more, I want to eat better, I want to sleep better, but X, Y, and Z because of the barriers, or sometimes just because it feels so overwhelming to make all those changes. Where do you suggest that someone starts, even just with one or two very small shifts?
Small steps. Going for a walk in the morning.
Yeah.
That could be your first small steps. And you're 100% right. It depends. Each life is different. Each person is facing different barriers, different challenges. 5 minutes of slow, deep breaths. Yeah, just learning to sit.
Yeah, those are great suggestions. And that sometimes even the guided meditation can be, using the Calm app or the Insight Timer app. The Insight Timer is a free meditation app that I really like, and it has even just 2-minute guided ones on there, because I know that can be daunting for people who have never meditated before, or have never done anything like that. Like, where do I start? What do I do? And so as you're describing, whether it's the walk or it's just a couple minutes of just sitting with your body, starting your day with a glass of water, setting an alarm on your phone to take vitamins every day. I mean, it's things that could be all of 30 seconds, but that is really easy to overlook.
It is achievable with small steps.
Yeah, absolutely.
Small steps, and also making use of what you have. I have clients who really all they have is a lunch hour.
Yeah.
So what do they do in that lunch hour? Just discussing how can you break that up. Let's think about what fundamentals need to be present in that hour.
Yeah. It's a great point. Circle of control. What do they have influence over? And that's a really important place to start. So Rita, where can everyone find you? Where can you be found on social media or online?
Instagram, it's Reta Faye Walker, RetaFaye Walker. And I'm mostly on Instagram and LinkedIn. And Facebook, it's Reta Faye Walker Therapy. And on my website, of course, I would hope that to see people subscribing to my newsletter. It's called Reclaim Your Day.
I love that. So important. Rita, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for all of your insights. I really appreciate it.
Take care.
Thank you all for joining us on the Always Evolving podcast. You can find our episodes on YouTube, and you can also head over to our website, www.evolvecounselingaz.com, to subscribe to our weekly e-newsletter. We would also love to connect on Instagram at evolvecounselingaz.
This is Always Evolving with Dr. Liz.